What is up, Watch fam? Happy Thursday, and welcome to this week's episode of Ask TNH Live. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and I'm going to be answering some of your questions live on Instagram. So let's do it. Let's talk about Tudor dates. Really good topic. The Tudor watches as a whole are on a massive rise. To call it an appreciation in the market would be an understatement. Tudor deserves everything they're getting, right? As a sister or brother brand to Rolex, they have basically the same level of robustness and quality of build and manufacture as the Rolexes that we love and admire. And since they're using the same cases and dial configurations, they also have basically the same amount of aesthetic merit, design, merit. So really there's nothing not to like. What happens, typically with things like this, when there's so much copycatting going on, is that people say, oh, they're just stealing. It's not original, which is the case. Tudor didn't invent a lot of their most popular models historically. Of course, the Black Bay is theirs and things now are theirs, but Tudor's been using, Rolex designs, for since the mid 20th century, a little bit earlier even. So no, there is not that much originality. That's not a blanket statement, but there isn't much. But that being said, because Rolex owns Tudor, it's also not ripping off. Rolex decided to produce a more affordable brand and still be able to deliver what's made them so famous. That being said, Rolex at its inception was more of what we look at Tudor today, right? Rolex, although expensive, was really more of an approachable watch. Rolex got the air of elitism when they started making the President and the yellow gold Datejusts, and when they started releasing the Submariner in two-tone and in solid yellow gold. That's when Rolex became this hoity-toity, brand. Now, that's not to say that Rolex was a cheap brand before that, not the case. But certainly the deference came when Rolex began, kind of ingraining in global culture this idea of wealth. Wealth and kind of prestige, which is something that Rolex still profits on till today. Best watch under $100. Good question, Goaty Head. Best watch under $100. Anna wears a really great Casio, one of those digital Casios, put a photo. I've recommended and bought Timexes for friends, weekenders. I would still wear a Timex weekender. If I were to go hiking tomorrow, I think I would wear a Timex weekender, if I had to wear a watch. Otherwise, I just wouldn't wear one. Do you think you'll buy another watch for yourself anytime soon? Let me think. No, not right now, but I never know if I'm going to buy myself another watch until I go and do it. I bought myself a beautiful Cartier pretty recently that I absolutely love, but it certainly was not my intention to buy it. That stuff just happens, That's it. Really, even in my experience in selling watches, and online retail through the Theo and Harris watch shop, most people don't intend to buy a watch. They see something that speaks to them. They find an Omega Seamaster that just they find breathtaking, and they just purchase it. It's not because these watches are so different, because you really can't find two the same in many cases. It's not like shopping at Wimpy or shopping at Tourneau. You can't really, in many ways, you can't long after a particular watch for so long and wait in vintage. In vintage, it's possible, but it's a little bit different. There's a little bit more of impulse in vintage, which is driven by a rarity. It's different than regular stock. Favorite Bond watch? Good question. I think it's the last question for this episode. I think that the vintage Submariners, the 6538, was probably one of the most beautiful Rolexes, period, with a gilt dial, chapter ring, big crown, gorgeous watch. So that's probably my favorite Bond watch. That being said, I was talking about this yesterday with a friend. I think it's so amazing how Omega has now had this brand product placement in James Bond. The brand has been mentioned explicitly in I think every one of the James Bond movies with Daniel Craig.
Rolex.
Omega.
Beautiful.
And that's huge. That's a matter of instilling the same level of brand recognition that Rolex did with James Bond, but for a whole new generation of people. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Ask TNH Live. If you enjoyed it, and if you enjoy watches and Rolexes and Omegas, don't forget to like this channel for more content. Like it, and never forget to check out the watch shop at theoandharris.com. I'll see you all tomorrow on Liquor On.
Does it do anything?
It tells the time.